Welcome back from the intermission. This is still Rocket League. We're still Minor League Esports presented by APM Music. I'm still Lars Newt, your color commentator, and joining me in the casting booth here is still Hunted, your play-by-play, but we are not still in the Foundation League. Foundation League, that was an awesome matchup we saw, playing well beyond their rank and giving us that great Game 5 decider. But now, the complete opposite end of the spectrum. We're moving up to Premier League. Shadow versus Dodgers. Hunted, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts right now is I just want to watch the game because we have been on delay here for quite a while, and we apologize for that, of course. A couple of intermittent server problems. I guess not too out of the blue here, considering all of the issues we've been having over the past week. But I'm excited. I'm ready to watch this one, and it's going to be a pretty good matchup. I mean, two close teams, at least in the standings. You know, both teams coming into this one, same game record, differing series records, and it's an important series for both teams.
Yeah, this is, as we mentioned before, with the Foundation League, there's only 16 teams in the league, and now we've got at the Premier League the same deal, 16 teams. So little swings and wins either way can make a huge difference.
Here we go, underway with game number one. Again, we apologize for that slight delay, but we are back and ready to go. The Dodgers in the blue, Good Neighbor and Delta. And in the tan, across the way, Evil and Braided Axe. As this promises to be quite the matchup, as Braided Axe coming into this one, probably one of the highest salary players in the league. I think he comes into this one at right around 21, if I got my information right, Lars.
You are correct. That is a whopping 21, but it's going to be Delta that scores first, picking that one out of the corner and catching the Shadow out of position on defense.
Delta right away getting off to the goal-scoring ways, and he comes into this series leading his squad in goals, 26 up to this point. Quickly on the board here, and we'll see how the Dodgers continue to play through. Oh, Braided Axe had to get a second touch there. Delta had an opening. Fortunately, played it right into the Shadow's defender. Now this one will bounce out in front. Good Neighbor's going to turn quickly, has an opening there. Evil just gets a piece of it. It'll be pushed wide. A minute gone. 1-0 here for the Dodgers, but the Shadow really just have not been able to settle into this game.
No, we've seen so much Dodgers pressure, which is not what you'd expect. Again, with Braided Axe leading the charge here on the rank at 21 salary. The next highest, I believe, in this matchup is an 18-5. That is not an insignificant difference. That's the difference between, I don't know, a Champ 3 and a Champ 1, which, as we know, as we talked about pre-match, is not insignificant. But here we are, finally seeing some Shadow pressure upfield, but the Dodgers just so quick, and the Shadow can't get the ball even in front of the Dodgers' net.
Again, the Dodgers going to win the battle at the midfield line. Good Neighbor has Delta there, but he'll opt to wait for this touch from Evil. Now Delta will try to slice his way through. This one back to the midfield line, and Good Neighbor to pass on over. 3 minutes left to go. Game number one, still 1-goal game. Here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Evil's going to cut that off. Now Good Neighbor, a whiff. Braided Axe, a lot of time. Oh, he pushed it wide. Rushing the shot there was Braided Axe, and the Shadow, an opportunity gone. It'll stay 1-0.
And unlike that first game of the Foundation League series, we don't see a lack of goals here because of a lack of aggression. Both these teams, kind of like we talked about with the Foundation League series, there's not really much of a feeling out period. They come out of the gate ready to play their game style. And here, a little bit of an awkward back pass from Braided Axe to Evil. I get the sense that, you know, this is Evil's first series in MLE for this season. I get the sense there's not a whole lot of chemistry here between Evil and Braided Axe, and that's what's holding them back so far.
That's certainly been a tough start here for the Shadow, but to their credit, they only find themselves down a goal and still plenty of time to try to find it. Evil trying to break into the zone. Good Neighbor, he'll pop it up. Braided Axe down to Evil. Quick shot. Delta gets caught, and we're tied. Just beyond the 2-minute mark here. It's tied at 1.
We were waiting for the Shadow to get some good, consistent offensive pressure on the Dodgers. And as soon as they got it, they got 2 or 3 runs in the net, and that draws the Dodgers defenders away from the defensive positions they've done so well so far. And that leaves it relatively easy shot for Evil to tuck that one far side.
Braided Axe with the bump on Delta, but the ball just a bit wide. A well set up play there by Braided Axe, but it does stay out as now the Dodgers can't get it by Evil at the midfield line. Braided Axe will keep it in. The game certainly shifting more in the Shadow's favor. It's Delta. They'll take a quick shot towards Braided Axe up to make the play. Here comes Good Neighbor quickly on, just wide. Will be Braided Axe to play it back in. Minute 20 left to go. This will fall down in front. Evil is there. Shot towards, score. The Shadow take the lead.
That is just a beautifully accurate shot from Evil. The Dodgers doubling up on the back wall, getting out of position, but Good Neighbor doing a good job recognizing the double up, getting into a better defensive position, but it's not enough. Evil able to find that far top corner with an awesomely accurate shot.
Good Neighbor, maybe an opportunity. Braided Axe going to challenge him right off the kickoff as there's a bump on Evil. This will send Delta on his way. 65 seconds left to go. 2-1 score line here. Braided Axe can't get around Good Neighbor. This will fall right down to Evil. The pass across bumped from behind there by Good Neighbor. As now 50 seconds, all that remains on the clock. 2-1 game. Here comes Delta. Bit of a whiff there. Good Neighbor's going to have to help. But giveaway though, Braided Axe is going to fire it right back in. Looks like the Dodgers now having trouble sorting some things out. A couple of whiffs. And the Shadow really just looking to hold on. They're wasting a whole lot of time. Only 30 seconds left. This is going to be a tough read. He makes it, but it falls right to Delta, who goes high with the shot. And now it's the Dodgers with an open net miss. And they still find themselves down a goal.
That they're going to want that one back. At this level of play, you can't afford to miss those shots. You are almost expected to hit those every time. And now when you need that clutch goal as the clock ticks down here, it's going to hurt. But that one is off the crossbar. Braided Axe will get up, and Delta follows to get the 0-second goal and force overtime.
And my goodness, did Braided Axe almost make this desperation save? Jumps for it, gets a touch, but it just finds its way home. And that will be overtime here, game number 1. Had it in the first series of the night, might as well follow it up here as Good Neighbor, quick opportunity, saved away off the goal line there from Evil. And now Braided Axe back the other way. Delta gonna eye this one up. Opts not to jump for it. Wants to take his time and control, though. Bit of a giveaway there. They'll end up back with the ball. Throws that right onto Evil, and now both teams really not wanting to make that crucial mistake. This is dangerous. Evil scores. The Shadow going to finish this game off. It looked like the Dodgers had the comeback, but the Shadow again right out in front. Hat trick for Evil, and it's a 3-2 final score.
That was just an awesome play out of Braided Axe. It just, the whole thing from the Shadow to get that win in overtime was great. The demo to disrupt the Dodgers, and then the kind of unlucky spawn of the Dodgers coming in on the same side, doubling them up, stacking them up. And then Braided Axe driving that one all through the corner. It's not something you see very typically at the Premier League level because it's generally easier to defend a ball rolling through the corner because they can only go one of two directions out of it. You can only go straight along the wall or out to the side, as opposed to more of a midfield play where you get this more three-dimensional aspect. But Braided Axe doing an awesome job staying on top of that ball, forcing it past the Dodgers, and giving Evil the easy finish to give the Shadow that Game 1 win.
Well, it's a Game 1 win and an important one there, and it even took the Shadow a little while to get situated in that first game. We talked about that it looked like Braided Axe and Evil not quite on the same page, but as they were getting into the game, it almost looked like the Dodgers were kind of falling out of the game in a couple of key double commits, a couple of whiffs, and it ended up costing them there in overtime.
There's the two big things I want to note about that is they came in with a little bit of a lack of chemistry on the Shadow side, but you don't get to this level of play without learning to adjust to your solo queue teammates and things like that extremely quickly. So they obviously came together very fast and made a very effective showing. And on the flip side, you see it all the time at every level. When you start off well and then all of a sudden the other team starts putting pressure on, teams have a nasty habit of just crumbling underneath it. And you have to be resolute, as now we see the Dodgers hunting those physical plays upfield.
Well, we're into game number 2 here, as the Shadow with a 1-game lead. Braided Axe is going to throw this one on goal. Another double commit there by the Dodgers. Delta able to make the play. I'll have to find another touch, and it's back to the midfield line. Here comes Evil quickly forward. Delta, last player back. Evil's there. Touch out, but it is well hard. Too far there for Braided Axe. But we'll keep the ball moving. And now the Dodgers, a controlled breakout over the head of Evil. Good Neighbors waiting out in front. Braided Axe, the only defender back, with the ball right into him. It will be touched back to midfield. And we continue to go back and forth here in this second game. Nobody with great opportunities quite yet.
Yeah, I was going to comment, what's really nice about this Premier League level is the players do a really good job with the decision-making. I mean, Braided Axe up here to 21. You don't get there without being good decision-making. But they do a good job of keeping the ball close when they need to, but that's a missed touch out of Evil. And just barely able to keep it clear for the Shadow. Getting away with murder there. Dodgers unlucky, unable to finish on that one.
And as we continue to play in this series, Lars, it's this map in particular in Aquadome with these colors, it almost looks like the Shadow are on the light side of the field, like they're coming out of the Shadow into the Shadow zone. It's quite interesting. It'd be more fitting, I think, if it was the other way around, but I like the dynamic here. It really does. It's almost like we're going into the Shadow when we get into Dodger zone, but either way, we are still tied at 0. 3 minutes left on the clock. Is Evil now. Trying to play that one by Delta. Here comes Braided Axe. Keep it in at the midfield line. Good Neighbor up for it. Has Delta there, but the rotation's going to get cut, and Evil will score from the midfield 1-0.
That's a nice, accurate shot out of Evil, but it comes off of the Dodgers again getting a little doubled up. They're tangled up with each other at the midfield, and that just leaves no one back at the net. And when you give these Premier League level players open nets, it's not like me, for example, where if you give me an open net, I'm going to whiff. These players, you give them an opportunity, they're going to score. You need to be back to defend.
Delta off the post. Opportunity there for the Dodgers, but the post comes up big for the Shadow. And now Delta has to hustle back. He'll clear this one out. Evil, last player back, ends up getting a touch. Going to buy some time for Braided Axe to get in position. That's just lightly towards the cage, though. The double commit there from the Shadow could be dangerous. It's Delta. Can't quite find that shot on goal. This will first Good Neighbor back to their own zone. 2:15 left to go. Still a 1-goal lead here for the players in that tan, as now Delta controlling. Has Good Neighbor. Good pass. Braided Axe just gets there in time. Good read. They will clear it away. So still, this 1-0 scoreline holds. 2 minutes left to go. But this next goal could very well decide this game.
It's such an even showing between these two teams. You can see why they're both 9-6 so far in the rankings, but that is a great pass. Braided Axe up to take advantage of the Dodgers. Once again, caught a little bit out of sorts on their own goal line.
Yeah, Good Neighbor. I mean, the ball over top, you've got to make a touch. You know Braided Axe is waiting for an opportunity. He's waiting for an error. And there's no touch on the original ball off the back wall and no touch on the bounce either. And that is a free goal. Braided Axe not going to miss those. It makes it a 2-0 game now as the Dodgers continue to try to sort out their issues on the defensive side. Only 90 seconds left to go. Game number 2, the Shadow poised to take a 2-0 series lead and really start to turn this into a disaster story here for the Dodgers. Braided Axe, good save there on Delta. They'll get it back to the midfield line, and right now, another shot. That one's just a bit wide, but the Dodgers, their offensive attacks have just not really given the Shadow much to think about.
Yeah, the Shadow are sitting here. They've got 5 saves on 6 shots out of the Dodgers, and I guess obviously one of those just going wide of net, getting the shot credit anyways. And it speaks kind of to the quality of shots. It's important to get quantity of shots on net. It frays the defense. It gets them out of sorts. It gets them out of position. Gets them low on boost. But that is going to be a quick, easy goal for the Shadow. And as you see, the Dodgers just not getting quality looks on the net.
And it's just, again, you know, I realize there's 37 seconds left. You're down by 2. You need to make something happen, but a bit of a poor decision to even jump for that ball. Evil's in great position to make some kind of touch, and you feel like a little bit of patience there by the Dodgers could have turned into something good, but again, it's a tough read in 2v2s like we play here at the minor league esports. As good neighbor might be able to find an opportunity if he can hurry. Evil's there, won't find a touch, and that's a good play. Solid pass out of the corner. But just going back to decision making, and you mentioned it earlier on in this series, it's very difficult to make split-second decisions, especially when you're playing in this 2v2 format. But so far, it's been the Shadow, in my opinion, who have come out ahead in that category.
Yeah, that's where you just, that's where so much of speed in this game comes from. There's a lot of things you can do to improve your speed in this game, and if you can outspeed the opponent, you're going to win. Some of those things are your recoveries, the way you flow around the field, the way you manage boost, but the biggest one, in my opinion, is how fast you can make decisions. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the right decision. You just need to make it fast and commit and get on it. As it's always been said, I've said it at every stream I've cast, if you're going to make a mistake, make it fast. Don't make a mistake, realize you made a mistake, hesitate, start to back off, and now you're just out of position. You're not challenging. You're not useful. The Shadow doing a great job making fast decisions, committing to them, and then being in a good position to take advantage of whatever happens next.
Well, you look at the stat line there, the Shadows with 10 total shots in that game, and it's interesting to think about because the Shadow had 2 pretty similar goals where it's just a challenge at midfield or one on the goal line by Evil a little bit later on that fall in because there's no Dodgers back. But all of the other shots are being saved away, blocked away, well defended by the Dodgers. And you think if they could clean up, again, at midfield and on the offensive side, they could clean up those things, we could be tied at 1 here going to overtime.
Absolutely. That's the one thing. There's no lack of talent on these teams, obviously. At the Premier League level, everyone's great. And what I think is really interesting at the Premier League level is mechanical ability stops being the biggest factor. At the Foundation Academy, even through the Champ League level, if you can out-mechanic somebody, you can win games. But everybody's mechanically gifted at this level. It really comes down to decision-making and consistency. And the Shadow just absolutely consistent at the midfield.
Right now, the Shadow have consistently won games in this series, 2 of them to be precise. They're looking for a 3rd. And to hand the Dodgers another loss on the young season. However, Dodgers not going to go quietly, as this is going to be Delta. Can't beat Braided Axe to it. It will fall out to Good Neighbor. Quick shot. Saved away there by Evil, and now the Shadow in transition. Here's Evil looking for Braided Axe. That's going to be way too far. We play it out of the corner. Down out in front. Good Neighbor on the clear as we approach the first minute gone in game number 3. As Delta was looking for an opportunity, has to be careful. Evil nearly took that one away. But we continue to play on. 0-0. Braided Axe forced up to make the clear. Evil almost a bit of a giveaway there. Delta wants to take advantage of it if he can, but the touch just not hard enough to beat Braided Axe over the top.
I want to touch on that clear real quick here. I know we talk about it at every level where you have to keep the ball close and keep control, but I think it's no more true than here at the Premier League level. Players are so fast to make a read and get back on the defensive end. As that's Delta going to dunk that one over the side and get them their lead here in game 3.
And this goal is almost the exact counterpoint to what you were just saying, in that Evil was a little too patient. It's a dangerous play to take that off the back wall slowly and try to control it out in front of your own goal like Evil did right there. Delta punishing him there, and almost another one. Braided Axe has to pinch it off the post and gets an additional clear. This could turn into something good for the Shadow. The pass is there. Evil's up and they'll score, and just like that, the error gets erased and we're tied back up at 1.
This is what I get for being right all the way through the Foundation League series. As soon as I say something here in Premier League, it's going to be the exact opposite on both ends of the field. As they send that one upfield, get it clear, and then be able to just touch it, that last one, to get it finished off. Good turn from the Shadow to tie this one up and continue to threaten the Dodgers with the series loss.
There's Good Neighbor looking for the pass, almost got a piece of it. Delta wanting to buy some time. Braided Axe doesn't care about that as quickly through the midfield come the Shadow. There's Braided Axe yet again. Good Neighbor trying to control. Evil on the challenge. Could be a great clear for Delta, but he's slow to the ball, and it will be played back in. As now Braided Axe on the challenge. He's going to be Good Neighbor there. Shadow should have the read on this one. Unfortunate miss, though, and Good Neighbor, he'll clear it back in. Still tied at 1, 2:40 left to go. As the Dodgers desperately needing a goal here to give them a lead, try to keep them in the series if they can. But a big clear yet again. Now Shadow, opportunity out in front. Braided Axe just can't quite get around it. That'll stay out for now as we are over the halfway mark here in Game 3.
Seen a couple of things out of Braided Axe, not really indicative of the level of play they represent at a 21 salary. That first goal, well, I guess the only goal so far out of the Delta, as Braided Axe sneaks up, but here is an opportunity for Good Neighbor, but gets demoed. Somehow, some way gets the demo to keep that one safe. I'm not even sure what happened.
How in the world? Evil wasn't even going supersonic. How in the world did Good Neighbor get demo there? Well, it looks like he's going to get another opportunity. Missed it wide. That was the most bizarre demo I think I've ever seen, Mars. And if you're Good Neighbor, you're probably pretty frustrated with that, but you got to clear that out of your mind as still the game plays on and 90 seconds left to go. Still tied up at 1. The Shadow pressing now, though. Braided Axe, the fake, he scores. What a move from Braided Axe. The no touch catches out Delta, and it's 2-1.
You got me, Braided Axe. I wasn't ready for it, and neither was Delta. Slow to get back up after recognizing that Braided goes sailing right past the ball, nowhere close, and that's just going to bounce in nice and easy. Delta not able to get back to it.
You know, I personally am a huge fan of those no-touch fakes. I don't know if that's exactly what Braided Axe is going for, but it's something I love to try to do in my ranked games. Just catch someone guessing on that play, and Braided Axe does it perfectly. It's now Dodgers looking to equalize. Evil had to make that challenge. Beautifully done. Still, the Shadow need to defend. It's a 2-on-1. Evil last back. Delta the pop, but no touch coming from Good Neighbor. There's a play out in front. Braided Axe will get in front of it. With 45 seconds left to go, the Shadow going to force the Dodgers back into their own zone. Delta. That one will be played out. Side of the box now. Here comes Evil around the corner. Good Neighbor. Trying to get it past the midfield line if he can. Braided Axe on the challenge. Delta taking time. Doesn't find the touch. And this is going to be a ton of time wasted here for the Dodgers, as now Delta will finally control, but only 15 seconds left to go. Shadow will stop that at the midfield. Here's Braided Axe to clear it back in, and the Dodgers still running out of time. Only 5 seconds left. We need to see them get a shot. Evil's going to try to kill the rest of the game. This is Good Neighbor, but Evil should do it. He does. A well-timed clear, and the Shadow take the series in 3 games.
That is an impressive set from the Shadow. What a way to take the series, and it's just wow. I don't have a whole lot of words for this. I do have words. So we see the Dodgers down again late in the game, and obviously this is going to be, well, no duh, Lars. You want to be up in the lead long before that last minute. And to expand on why that's not as obvious, you have to manage your time. As you come into that last minute, if you're down, it forces you to be more aggressive upfield because now you absolutely need goals more than ever. And when you get more aggressive upfield, yes, it can increase your chances of getting goals, but it increases your chances of getting burned. The Dodgers here need to pick up 2 games going forward to keep their playoff chances alive, as a sweep here would be just devastating towards their run towards the playoffs. So they have to pick up these 2 games off the shadow, keep it close to them at least. And to do that, they're going to have to take leads earlier in the game. They cannot wait for that last minute to start trying to win.
As we move on over to game number 4, if you are new to minor league esports, we do play all 5 games regardless of the outcome of each individual game. It all culminates to final seeding and such as playoffs approach. And you mentioned it, you don't want to take an 0-5 loss if you can avoid it. And the Dodgers now going to be facing that down a little bit here. Still 2 games to play, and really, the Dodgers haven't been blown out of this series by any stretch of the imagination. But it has been the Shadow with pretty good command over the pace of play so far, as the neighbor wanted to set Delta up there. He'll just throw it into the corner. But this is the time for the Dodgers to shine. You've really got to force the issue right now against the Shadow.
I think the biggest thing the Dodgers can do is to run away with this game and take just tons and tons of momentum into Game 5 to prevent a devastating loss here. And as we're seeing right now, they're just capable teams, but that's a miss out of Evil, and no one's there to push. Delta tries to catch it coming across, doesn't get there, and now we've got the counterattack out of the Shadow.
Evil almost served that one on a platter to Delta right out in front. Lucky, couldn't quite get the long reach of the Dominus around on it, but here comes Braided Axe back the other way. Great pass. Beauty for the Shadow, and they're going to start out in the lead here, a 1-0 scoreline as we finish up the first minute.
That is not the start the Dodgers needed to Game 4 here, but it is very typical of the Shadow, and what we've seen out of them doing a great job challenging at the midfield to open up these opportunities. You know, this Premier League level players are anxious to get upfield. They're aggressive coming forward. If you could break that up at the midfield and then turn quickly like we saw the Shadow do, it's going to throw the defense off kilter and open up the net for you.
Oh, Braided Axe back into the zone. And you look at the car selection as well, Lars, something that we don't often talk about as it's not terribly relevant at times, but at this level of play, it is quite interesting. 3 players on the Dominus as Braided Axe sneaks that one by Delta. Not sure how that one went in, but either way, he's going to make that one work. I'm sure Delta's going to want that playback.
I somehow think Delta was thinking that maybe Evil was going to take that ball somehow and wasn't ready for Braided Axe to come up quickly. But it's something interesting you see at the Premier League level where sometimes it's just simple goals. You'd expect at this level for things to be crazy and hectic, and you have to get some crazy awesome touch to get the ball past the defense. And sometimes that's all it takes. Just a well-placed simple shot back and away from the defender, and that's it.
Getting shots on target is certainly the name of the game. At every level of Rocket League, this game is so very difficult at any level. I mean, you see professional teams struggling with shooting accuracy at times, and good to see Braided Axe and company making their shots count. There's another opportunity. Was just looking to touch into the zone now. It's Delta wants to turn it around. 2:50 left to go. Evil trying to play it by a good neighbor. Braided Axe already in the air. And that one trying to fight it out of the corner. Here comes Delta. We'll challenge that one. Now good neighbor shot towards Braided Axe, just reaches out to make the save. Rebound down in front will score, and the Dodgers will break through just before the half.
Just like we saw in that first series of the night, there's some goals where you have to get the ball clear, and you're definitely in position to do so. And there's some goals you just got to save the first one and hope your teammate's there to clean it up. And that's what we saw there. Braided Axe did an excellent job getting back to that ball and saving that first shot, and wasn't in a position to clear it away. And unfortunately, the Dodgers just beat them to it and gets that goal. But good news for the Dodgers, swinging the momentum with 2 big demos to open up that net and tie the game quickly here at halftime.
A good neighbor seizing the opportunity to destroy as many cars on the field as possible. I think that's like the exact opposite of being a good neighbor, Lars. I think If you're the Shadow, that's a pretty bad neighbor. But either way, it will work out for his team, and it will tie the game up at 2:15 left to go. It's Braided Axe. That's a good bump on Good Neighbor, as Delta just had to reach out and poke that one. Evil now can't quite make the touch. Here comes Good Neighbor quickly through. Braided Axe, very quick challenge there, forcing Delta back to his own side, as Evil gonna try to watch this one. Back and forth we continue to go. Dodgers looking for an opportunity. Can't quite connect out of the corner, as here comes Evil. Minute 45 left to go. Another demo. Gonna shut down this Shadow offensive for the moment. And it's interesting to see the Dodgers looking for all these demos. We didn't really see the physical play come out too terribly much from them earlier on, but they've changed the game plan here, and it seems to be working against the Shadow.
It's something I would have recommended in intermission should the Dodgers lose this game, and they need to make a change-up. They need to disrupt the Shadow, and a physical play is a great way to do it. And here they are. They beat me to the punch. They recognized what they had wasn't working. They embraced the new play style, and it's paying off in huge dividends.
Still, they need to finish off the game. Tied up now, 60 to go. And we have seen the Shadow, deadly ability to strike at times when it doesn't really look like they have much of an opportunity. So the Dodgers really want to take this lead, as Braided Axe winning an important challenge. Good Neighbor's going to be the last one back, trying to bait out the challenge from Braided Axe. He bought enough time for Delta to rotate back, and with 35 seconds left to go. Overtime hanging over the game now, as Delta, solid touch. Evil's going to get caught out here, but Braided Axe quickly back. Will turn into another back and forth, as Braided Axe towards the cage. They score. Evil gets around it, and just like that, the Shadow regain the lead.
It's again just a beautifully set up play. Braided Axe ending up ahead of the ball, and instead of rotating back to net, recognizes Evil's going to get the clear, doesn't have to rotate back, stays upfield to beat out the Dodgers rotating back to their own net, and then gets an absolutely gorgeous pinch off the wall. Perfect amount of power. Chef's kiss. It's great. It's awesome. And Evil there reads it perfectly and is able to clean it up and secure the win here. Most likely. It's still up. Okay. No, secure the win here in Game 4 to now push them ahead 4-0. Dodgers absolutely critical they win in Game 5.
And you're starting to scare me with these predictions. Sound like Sleegy on the broadcast now. But hey, it's a good win for the Shadow. They're going to go 4-0 now, moving into game number 5. And the Dodgers really, they made it work through the middle of that game. And I kind of mentioned the Shadow have this ability to strike from these awkward opportunities. And really, Braided Axe, a wonderful pass, a gorgeous pass to Evil to win that game, is not something you really expect if you're the Dodgers. You can't let yourselves get behind. We've already talked about this time and again, but the Dodgers continually play from behind. This time they actually come all the way back, but it's just not enough because of the poor start they had.
And again, that's what I know it sounds dumb to say it out loud. Oh, you need to score goals faster. But they need to score goals faster. They need to carry a lead through the game. Like you said, they can't be playing from behind. I do want to give credit where credit's due, though. Dodgers, early in the series, had a lot of trouble getting doubled up on each other, struggling with double commits and being out of position, and they've seemed to have cleaned that up. They're doing much, much better job on that. Just the Shadow are such an effective striking team. They're so fast to take advantage of every little opportunity. It's just so difficult to find an advantage against a team that can be that quick to the ball and that accurate on the net.
Well, we are back underway. Final game of the series. The Dodgers and Shadow conclude this bout as Evil, oh, that just hits the crossbar. Delta should be able to clear it away. Actually hits Evil with the ball. We'll go back to the Shadow zone. But of course, if you are the Dodgers here, you need this game. I feel like this is a must-win game if you are in that blue right now.
I'm not going to say it's make or break for playoffs, but it's so important for team morale and momentum going forward in the season to have at least one. And a 5-0 is devastating for an entire team, not just the players that play it. And I don't want to get down on the Dodgers. They're doing a lot of things really well, but this Shadow team is so effective all over the field on defense, on offense, and challenging in the midfield. Dodgers need to find some magic here. I think embrace some of that physical play as Delta challenges forward and gets the late bump, and Good Neighbor easily puts that one away.
And it's the team play there. They catch Evil out, and Braided Axe, I don't think Braided Axe had any boost in the tank. At least not enough to avoid the bump that was incoming there. It will be a 1-0 game now as the Dodgers going to take an early lead. We'll see if they can hold on to it. Good Neighbor is going to chase this out of his own zone. Has Evil to beat. Up in the air, over the head of Evil. Delta's there for the rebound. Can't quite sneak it underneath Braided Axe. But this is a great start to this game for the Dodgers. Might even turn into more if Delta can hurry. Just going to let Evil play that one, and Good Neighbor eyeing this up. The Braided Axe, great move, crossbar. Delta's got to be careful. Can't clear it out of harm's way. It's still dangerous as Evil turns. Fires again off the crossbar once more, and we stay 1-0.
The Dodgers are handed a gift by the Shadow. They had every right to score there. The net was just open enough, and they rip it off the crossbar twice. But Evil's going to turn quick and put that one in as the Dodgers nowhere to be found on defense.
He said the Dodgers were handed a gift. Well, Delta whiffs them right back. A big whiff off that back wall, and Evil not going to miss that shot. We are tied up at 1 now. 3:13 left to go as Good Neighbor right off the kickoff trying to force his way through Braided Axe there. They'll bounce out towards the sidewall. This is going to be a corner play. Delta down to Good Neighbor. Eye Evil, Braided Axe in a tough spot, just avoids the demo. But now Delta will turn quickly. Good Neighbor going to rotate forward. Still, it's dangerous. Here's Delta, quick shot well high. Good Neighbor again on the follow through. This one still in the Shadow zone, but it should be an easy clear for Evil, and it will be. That's a quick play off the post. Braided Axe trying to catch the Dodgers in transition there, but now got to play some defense here. Delta fires off the post himself. These teams just can't seem to squeeze it between the pipes.
The framework coming out to play and just dominating this game as no one seems to be able to get it past and into the net. I do want to point out real quick, especially with regards to that bump play on Braided. If you like what you see, go ahead and clip it and submit it for play of the week, either on Twitter, as this one is going to be a goal coming off the demos. I can't even finish what I'm saying because they're out here making such incredible plays and they're going to keep scoring.
Well, hey, I mean, it's just a good challenge out of the corner there by Braided Axe, forcing the defender, I believe it was Good Neighbor, into a very awkward situation. Can't quite come up with the challenge they were looking for, and the Shadow take the lead. But certainly, if you do see a play that you think deserves play of the week, make sure you do clip it, send it to us. As you mentioned on Twitter, in the Discord as well. We are continuing to play through here. 2-1, a minute 45 left to go. The Dodgers just need this one more goal, Lars, to try to tie this game up and salvage something out of this series. But so far, the Shadow, when they have had a lead, have been so very difficult to play against.
We've mentioned it again and again. I know I sound like a broken record saying dumb things, but the Dodgers need to score more goals. And as obvious as that sounds, it's just the Shadow team plays in command from the front. They have no struggles. They've got no worries when they're up there. You need to put 2 or 3 ahead as the Dodgers to really shut out the Shadow and take advantage of the series, or the game.
Like a broken record saying dumb things. You really are turning into Steve. Here we go, 60 seconds left.
Clip for play of the week.
Evil's going to go up on this sidewall. Here's Braided Axe, always going to give that one away. Could be dangerous if Delta can get there. Evil, no touch. Delta just high and wide. Evil will play it onwards. And now Good Neighbor still looking to create. 35 seconds left to go. To be Braided Axe. back the other way. Good Neighbor not able to make that challenge. A lot of time out in front. Evil just wanting to play some defense now, trying to kill some more time. Final 20 seconds, back to the midfield. Double touch there from Evil. Here's Good Neighbor, needs Delta to clear this one out, won't be able to get it by. And once again, the suffocation from the Shadow, keeping it in the zone. Good Neighbor, all he can do just to save that one away. Delta back, but it won't be enough, and the Shadow will sweep the Dodgers here, a 5-0 series victory.
That is just a great win for the Shadow. I do want to point out this scoreline, this 5-0 victory, is not indicative at all of how this series went. It was close all the way through. I think the biggest gap we had for a victory was, what, 2 goals? And most of them were 1-goal games. This has been a tight series. Dodgers played their hearts out. They just got beat out by the Shadow, and it wasn't because the Dodgers played poorly. They did a very good job. The Shadow just did it better, and they were consistent. That's been the story. Really, if you want to get good at Rocket League, you want to rank up, and you want to be dominant, that's the deal. Be consistent. Shadow were consistent. They played well all over the field. They played the same game the whole series, and it got them the win. Dodgers got advantages when they had these little moments of magic, but they couldn't continue to do them. They couldn't stick with these winning strategies, and unfortunately leads to their loss here.
And again, one of the big things that I want to point out as well is that the Shadow played very, very well with a lead, and they constantly found themselves in that position. And when you are playing with that confidence that you have the lead, and especially when you're playing well throughout the day, it can feel very, very suffocating to the other side. And, you know, just that final 30 seconds of Game 5 kind of encapsulates what it felt like whenever the Shadow were in the lead. The Dodgers doing what they could to try to clear the ball away, but there was always a Shadow player in good position making that block or what have you to keep them in their own zone. And, you know, I agree with you that I don't think it was a blowout series by any stretch, or the Dodgers played poorly at all. But I just think the Shadow had confidence where the Dodgers just never really got a chance to be confident in the series.
Mm-hmm. And that is just the story, Shadow suffocating them out. But we're looking forward through the evening. I know we have had a great time here. Hunted and I have an awesome time casting, but we are done for the night. But maybe you're feeling a little tired, but you don't want to miss out on more MLE action. Well, I've got just the product for you. We've got some Balls Guarana. Goes to the Play of the Week winners, but also if you just need some energy, it's a highly caffeinated soda. It's a great resource to turn to carry you through these next 2 series. Speaking of these next 2 series, we've got a double header. First, after this intermission, we're going to have the Ducks versus the Knights Master League matchup. And then, to cap off the night here on MLE Sports GG, we've got the Ducks versus the Knights Academy League action. And all of that's going to be casted by Captain Itsoka and Squid, wonderful casters. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you stick around. I've been Lars Newt. Joining me here has been Hunted, and we'll be right back after this intermission.